And welcome. It is another Monday night. It's about an hour before Monday Night Raw. And you are live with us two, the dynamic duo. I'm the sniper. He's the pundit. And this is Top Rope Talk. So we've got a hell of an episode for you all. We're going to be looking at the two pay-per-views from this past weekend, a controversial firing that went down, and more. So with that being said, how you doing, Jacob?
Not bad. There's a reason you're called the sniper. I'm the pundit because I'm the one pissing them off, and you got to shoot them from the top.
Hey, there we go. That works. That
Yep.
absolutely works. So before we get started, I just want to let everybody know that if you are watching us from one of the platforms listed below, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, welcome. If you are catching us on YouTube, just make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to Sideline Sports Network. Like the episode, subscribe to Sideline Sports. So it's more than us. There's also Confidential. There's also the Gauntlet. There's also Pushing Them Back with Kobe White, the Sideline Sports Show. You name it, we got it. And we've got content every single week. So please
Hours and
subscribe.
hours and hours worth.
Yes, absolutely. And also, you can catch us streaming on DBTV and Stream TV. With
Yep.
that being said, let's go ahead and get started with our first topic now. As you all know, live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, just this past Saturday night was WWE Payback 2023. And it was an all right pay-per-view, but let's hit a few points on a recap real fast. John Cena hosted the event. In the main event, Rollins retained the World Heavyweight Championship in probably an underwhelming match. But the highlight to me was the Judgment Day added more gold. They dethroned Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. So now when you look at it, the camp has got titles in all three brands, in NXT, Raw, as well as SmackDown. But quick question. Is now the time more than ever, while they have all these titles, you got to think, Dominic's the North American champion, NXT. Then you got the Raw and SmackDown tag team champions, Priest and Balor. You got the women's world champion in Rhea Ripley. Is now the time more than ever for Damian Priest to cash in?
Yes, but I would do it one which way. I'd have him surprisingly see, but the creative doesn't have this kind of creativity. I'd have him leave the faction, and then I have him leave the faction with it, and then the night he leaves it, take it. Take the belt, and then he's got all of them to have to fight off.
Oh, okay.
He's got all of them to fight off. It's like, I'm going to make him a badass babyface because he's got a damn awesome look.
Of course.
He's got a tremendous look. You better believe I'm going to do that. And it's like, no, absolutely, I'm going to see. They're not this creative though. They're going to have it to be able to make this. But they don't need any more belts anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's the one big thing. It's like and by the way, I want to ask this: didn't it look like Cena just had a whole lot of fun in that event?
Cena always has fun at those events, man. It's really great seeing him at this stage because he's not a full-time performer. He might wrestle once a year, but man, when I tell you that crowd explodes, and you can just see it in his face that he missed looking at that night after night.
I love the sport coat. I love the borrowed sport coat with the t-shirt.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you remember when Edge made his return at the 2020 Royal Rumble? Did you see the look on his face?
Yeah.
You can just tell I wouldn't be surprised if he was in tears. You can just tell he missed it.
Oh, of course. It's like that's what they bring up all the time. The fact that it's those endorphins. It's the same with rock stars. We brought up what constitutes a GOAT. We'll bring it up later. You know what I'm saying in the show. But the biggest thing about it is you just look at him. I was laughing my butt off at the hat with the borrowed sport coat. Yeah. And a borrowed sport coat that's too big for him.
Exactly.
And it's too big. And the guy's 245. It's obvious he was borrowing something from like Mark Henry's closet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or something like that. Or it could have been no. It could have been someone that's over there still. It could have been Otis's.
Could have been.
It was too big for him, and he was like, and he had the bow tie, and he was just having a lot of fun with it. I loved it. But can we bring up Rollins now?
Oh yeah, no, no, of course. We're going right into it. This, I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a whack match. It was an all right match, but the match had more of a Monday Night Raw feel to it versus a pay per view. I thought it was slightly underwhelming. I thought it would have been good if Nakamura would have captured the belt, but Rollins retained, and it further lets me know that if they are still sticking with the champion versus champion format in Survivor Series, they want Rollins to face Reigns.
Well, and that's absolutely true. But let me say this: I hated this. I hated. I loved the original idea. If you put it in New Japan or All Japan or whatever, it is the most amazing storyline ever because they actually know what they're doing.
Of course.
You gave. But I will say this: the opening for Nakamura with the manga and the with manga and all that kind of stuff and the comic book look, that is awesome.
Hmm.
That was phenomenal. But this is the deal with something like this: you have your wife in a cage on the show against the legend. Her name has been brought up 6,500 times in that deal. His back's broken. She's going to have to take care of him. It's all this kind of stuff like that. Wouldn't she, if you have a good creative bone in your body, wouldn't this be on her mind?
Of course.
She's in a cage. She's facing the legend. Wouldn't she take an absolute butt kicking most of the match and then finally come back and take it instead
Right.
of a back and forth, back and forth? Let me tell you this, just like anything else, it's her husband. It'd be the same for him if that's his wife and she's in trouble.
Right.
They're a team together. But she just goes out like nothing happened. They have a really good match. She's like, oh, choreography and blah, 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 blah. Wouldn't she have trouble concentrating, knowing this is the thing? And then finally, the thing is, and then she takes an absolute butt kicking around most of the match. It's Trish. And then finally she comes back. She has to get to this, and then she gets it. I would have ended it the same way. Don't get it wrong. But get all this up, and then you could have the deal. Second of all, why is he coming out all happy and dancing? His back's on the line.
Yeah.
Why isn't he coming out with the riot gear?
True.
Why isn't he coming out with the riot gear? His back is on the line, his family's on the line, everything's on the line, and the Nakamura's threatening him. Why is he coming out dancing?
True.
These are the things that don't get. Maybe it would be if they keep it up. I heard he got attacked off the camera, the thing. But maybe you can do it for the next one. But I can't trust that they're going to be this way. It's like, why is he dancing? Why is he putting on the show? You can see Nakamura dancing. He's nuts.
Yeah.
And he's cocky. You can see why he is. He knows he's got him in his sights. But why is Seth? I mean, Seth's got to be thinking about this. This is why. This is, like I said, this is why creative sucks.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's almost like Rollins, and granted, Rollins came out the way he did because that's his persona. Like, people go to the events to see him dressed the way he does, come out the way he does, and they all sing his song. But also, here's the deal. I get what you're saying because for once he could have just came out there like laser focused, right? you know?
Oh, I tell you how I'd have him come out. I'd come out the Seth freaking Rollins thing, the fire, everything. He doesn't show up. He doesn't show up. Then comes Nakamura laughing. Here he comes laughing, and he's everything. He's scared. He's everything. And then here comes the Shield music.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that too. You remember, I don't know if it was Royal Rumble, I think 2021. Maybe it was Royal Rumble 2019. 29. It was one of them, man. But look, Seth Rollins was facing Roman Reigns for the Universal title. And Seth Rollins came in there in old Shield gear with the Shield music. And he did it to get in Reigns' head.
Yeah.
And at the time period, they had a whole feud about it. And Roman Reigns, for the first time, it painted him, the tribal chief, in an underdog light because in their careers, Reigns has never beaten Rollins. Rollins made sure he let him know that. And in Reigns, he got like pseudo emotional and he said, I'll never forgive you for what you did to us, because it was Rollins that turned on him and broke up the group. Now, this angle was strange because it totally bypassed the fact that they reunited before Jon Moxley's exit from WWE.
Yeah.
And that is my problem with WWE Creative is they're dumb when it comes to history.
Well, and the thing was, just imagine what you could lay on that he doesn't show up in that, and then Nakamura laughing, "I told you so." He's, and everything come out, Shield, and the place would go insane. Place would go absolutely insane. Him coming out of the crowd, everything like that, laser focused, and the guy. Now you got it. Then you have, and now I'm going to tell you it's going to be a pay-per-view match. I'm going to make it 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, absolutely. But you know what?
I'm going to have that. I'm going to have him focus so deeply on that back. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have him do things like what they did with that one guy during the Judgment Day. Remember what was his buddy's name? What was that guy's buddy's name?
JD.
JD, yeah. Boom. Like something like that, and I'm like, that's going to be, I'm going to have something like that. I'm going to have that kind of thing going for 30, 40 minutes. Just like, he's going to be broken, stop the match, that kind of stuff. And then you make the comeback, Yeah,
and then just make your way back. Well, you mentioned Lynch Stratus. It's on to our next topic, which basically is more WWE Payback coverage here, or recap here. In a match that I actually thought was the best match of the pay-per-view, Lynch and Trish Stratus tore the house down in a steel cage match. Now, things took an interesting turn because during the Grayson Waller segment with guest Cody Rhodes, surprise, surprise, main event Jey Uso returns to Monday Night Raw. Rhodes introduced him. Jey Uso came out to slightly altered music and to Ross's ovation. Mind you, the last time we saw him was several weeks ago. He had the issue with his 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago. He said he was out of WWE, out of SmackDown, and that was it. But now, he's striking out on his own, and he's no longer on SmackDown. Now, here's the thing. Because now this may change the trajectory, and I may actually entertain Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns for the belt now. But only because they did this. But it doesn't change the fact that they screwed up on Cody Rhodes. If the goal was for him to win the belt, but wait till later, you make him win Royal Rumble 24, not 23.
Yeah.
Right. With that being said, the last question, how will this change the chase for Reigns' title? So maybe you got Rhodes, maybe you got somebody else.
It could be a 3-way, but I'll tell you, notice that Cody Rhodes is 38 years old. His dad was winding down by 38.
That's true.
That tells you the difference in this. That tells you the difference in these athletes now. I mean, his dad started when he was about 20, 21. He was winding down, worn out, all that kind of stuff. The diet, the exercise, the workouts, the everything, and all the injuries and the injury comebacks. It's just so different now.
It
is. But the Grayson Waller effect. I'll tell you about this thing. He's not very good at this. He is not very good at this.
I don't expect it to be Ms. TV. I don't even expect it to be HBK's Heartbreak Hotel or Paul Bearer's The Funeral Parlor. But Grayson Waller, to a certain extent, who Grayson Waller kind of reminds me of, a heel Zack Ryder.
Yes, but
because he goes off the whole internet thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, and this hashtag and stuff. He's not.
He's just as talented.
Yeah, but the issue with it is when he goes out there and he's doing it, it looks like he read Being a Heel for Dummies, book. It's like I don't feel a whole lot of real heat out of this guy. It's like I just see a lot of things. It's like, I'm making Jerry Lawler's jokes. It's like no, but Cody, he made it. Jey Uso is a star. Every bit of a star. He's a single star. They should be doing this with Damian Priest right now. That right now, make it with Damian Priest. That is, you take one look. You got to just take a look at them from the get-go. Why are you throwing that? Okay, it's cool. It's Judgment Day. Look at him. Look at guys like this. It's like, are you okay, Vince? Are you on drugs? Probably not. Maybe unless it's back medicine. But it's like, are you? It's like, take one look. You took one look at Roman Reigns and knew it. What happened in this? Look at Damian Priest. Look at him.
Yeah.
It's like you see, but you also missed on Cesaro. Look at him. It's like you're missing things on these. It's like there are. I will tell you this, you brought up the Lynch Stratus match. That was all. It's an awesome match. So what I was saying, it was a great match. I was just saying that as far as the storyline goes, it should have been a teardown, but she should have been taking a lot more beatings out of Mrs. Concentration. But just another thing, you talk about Rhea Ripley. That's a badass woman.
Yes.
And
she's believable. They're making, and you know what? I know I said at one point in time they were making her the next Chyna. Now it's at the point they're making her the female Roman Reigns.
Did you notice, though? You notice that Rhea, they had to find the one guy that she could technically spear, and even he was too dang big, and then she had to go back, Kevin Owens. Truthfully, I would have had her spear Sammy because he's smaller. It's like I would have made it Sammy instead of Kevin because she ran fast, ran into him, and Kevin had to go back.
Right.
It's like, and Rhea's a beast, strong woman.
Yeah.
But again, it's biology. I mean, she went full force into him, and he still had to go back and do the work.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Kevin Owens goes about, 260, something like that?
Yes. I mean, and look, put her arms around, and she's a big girl. And
she goes about 145, 150.
Yeah, well, probably about 160. But
probably
I'm just
160,
saying,
yeah.
It's biology. It's still biology. It's like,
it is.
If you're going to, it's stuff like that. That's why I don't want to see a woman versus a man in this type of thing. It's why I don't want to. It's like, okay, you got Miss, you got the girl. I mean, who was her opponent last night? I apologize.
Who?
Rachel?
Rachel Rodriguez.
Raquel, yeah.
Raquel Rodriguez,
Yeah. But big girl, terrible baby face, needs to be a heel, quick. But but I mean, her whole thing is doing this. Yeah. It's like no one cares. Literally, no one cares, and no one cares about Hulk can't even get anything for this anymore. It's like he's still got arms.
They missed an opportunity putting her in the LWO.
Yeah, well, you want to know what I would have done with Rhea though? I had her beaten. I would have had a good match like they had. Have her beat her, and then take her up as a new one for. That can be the new one for. Have a new one for Judgment Day.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? How about this? Because notice she's been rotating tag team partners because they kept getting injured and so forth and so on. Look, you stick her in the LWO, have her tag with Zelina, let them go win the belts, and then have everybody else in the LWO go and win whatever they want. Santos Escobar, and in the same pay-per-view, Rey Mysterio Jr. retained the United States Championship against Austin Theory, in which I will tell everyone, listen, coming from a Rey fan himself, it does nothing for him. I mean, I wasn't mad at the move, but also didn't get the move.
Well, maybe he's trying to hold it for Dominic, but the trying to hold it for Dominic, they can go start back again. But the Zelina Vega thing still makes me mad. Not to say, of course, she was going to get the ovation and everything, but a 20-minute match with a girl as big as Rhea, and then Rhea beats a hoss like Natalya in 58 seconds. Come on. Oh, we're showing it to be dangerous. Yeah, she could have eaten Zelina like a toothpick, like an hors d'oeuvre.
But also at the same time, it is and this has been my beef with WWE for years. Natalya is arguably the best mat wrestler in the women's division. Why are you having her lose matches like this?
Well, and the thing is, look at her core base. She looks like a beautiful animal.
Yeah.
She looks like a beautiful Anvil because there was never. I mean, Anvil got himself a hot woman because there's nothing about other than the body build that is Anvil.
That's true.
There is nothing about that other than the body build.
And you know what? I don't know if you taken a look at her Instagram, but have you seen her older sister?
I have not seen that.
She's finer than her.
I can imagine.
And get this, and she looks younger than Natalia. That's the crazy part.
No, imagine those two. Imagine those two hearing, "My daddy can beat your daddy up."
All right, yeah,
Yeah. You know
yeah,
who our daddy is? I'll bring him to school someday.
yeah. And then some kids bringing in like some dude that works at a law firm. He's probably about like
Or he's like maybe he's like a construction worker or something.
construction. Yeah,
Yeah, but then
but
here comes
I mean,
Anvil.
shoot, even Anvil had a construction worker like build himself.
Well, but no, but
He obviously looks like he operates the jackhammer.
he obviously, well, he probably the jackhammer probably jackhammer couldn't shake him. That was how big he was.
Yeah, but then also, and I was thinking about Arn Anderson earlier. He looks like he's a crane operator. The guys that aren't like they're not gym rats, but they're solid.
Arn's and look at Arn now. That's the thing. Arn looks like an older version of himself. He doesn't
Right.
look any different. He looks like an old version of it. He's got a little bit of weight on him.
He's got a little bit of a gut, but he's been retired for 20-something years.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a gut, but he still looks like he has arms and shoulders. He still looks like you can put him in a 6-man for a couple moves.
And you know what? Austin got a little bit of a retirement gut also, but I think he got in shape a little bit for his match against Kevin Owens 2 years ago.
I
didn't notice it.
And I do not want to see Austin back out there ever again. That was a beautiful match. Get out while you can. Because we already seen with Flair what can happen when you do this too long.
Exactly. Well, we're going to move on to our next topic, and that is our recap of AEW All Out from Chicago, Illinois, back-to-back Sundays, back-to-back pay-per-view. So just a little bit of what happened. MJF and Adam Cole retained the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. And what I thought was the best match of the pay-per-view, Miro versus Hobbs, absolutely delivered. And I remember being in, the wrestling discussions group on the thread, and I think it was Adrian Gray was like, wow, Miro versus Hobbs, take my damn money. These two behemoths went at it. It was almost
meaty guys slapping meat.
Exactly, just like at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
Also, Bryan Danielson made his return and was victorious against Absolute Ricky Starks in a strap match, essentially avenging what happened with Steamboat. But and of course, touch on all the other points, but just want to kind of lead off with the question: Danielson victorious in his return. Should he, whether now or a little ways down the line, reset his sights on MJF?
No. Because I want to hold off and I hope this happens. I want to hold off for Cole turning on him and going psychotic.
Okay.
I want to hold on this. It's like I said, there is so much money to MJF finally trusting someone, then he's screwing. There's so much money to that, and the psychotic that he's going to turn. And, every big which way. And see, that's the thing. It's AEW, so he won't forgive you. He won't remember. This isn't WWE where they forget in 2 months.
And you know what? Here's the thing. As great as MJF is right now, a Danielson heel Cole matchup would sell a lot of tickets.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like,
I mean, like you look at the two, like they've done time in Japan, they've done time in Ring of Honor. Like these two highly skilled. You're talking about two of the best in the game, man.
I'll tell you another thing about AEW. They had one of the goofiest things. I think it was the pre-show. It was the $50,000 the battle royal, and whoever wins puts it to charity. I'd make that a shoot. or a UWFI type shoot. I'm not saying a total shoot, but at the UWFI. Where these guys are going. This is for their charity. Right. They're going to go all the hell out. We don't need to see them with spots. This is their chance. They're showing how good they are.
Right.
And guess what? Have them all baby faces. They are all baby faces. They are. They're going for it.
Yep. And now as far as the Miro Hobbs match. Your thoughts on that one?
Oh my Lord! I'll tell you this: it was the end when CJ shows up.
Right.
CJ shows up. I am so glad Powerhouse didn't sell that because because these stupid companies like Impact and everybody else they're getting dumb on much smaller women trying to make men bounce.
Yeah.
And I am so glad they showed exactly. It's like he knew who hit him with the strength of it. I love that. And then guess what? The Miro taking him out after, good.
Yeah.
See, that's maybe 90s, but that's what it needed to be. Good that she went to go protect him.
Mm-hmm.
Good that she would do it. She's also about 110.
Exactly. And you know what? You and I both know, had this have been the 90s, he would have been floored by that chair shot. But I liked how they kept it realistic because she goes about 110, 112. So even with the chair, she's not laying out a literal 290-pound man.
I know, and it's like, and that's the bit old school with that, and it's like, I loved her little pouty Elizabeth face with sex appeal.
True.
Yeah, it was like that. She wasn't overly. It's just like I think she knew that he was going to come back up, but it was like, but that's what the whole thing was. But that's the big thing, though. CJ is basically a physically involved Elizabeth, and
Yeah.
needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Elizabeth didn't need to be physically involved.
And you know what? I wonder if they're going to turn this into AEW's version of Carry On Cross and Scarlet.
That's a good question on that, and it's like, see, but he was already complaining that she got in the ring. But here's the thing: I hope that they turn it into he's just worried about her well-being. I hope they don't turn it as you're a woman. I hope they don't do that crap.
No.
No, worried about your well-being. Just like, and guess what? She was worried about his.
Right. But you know what? But also here's the thing, because remember when they were in WWE and Miro or Rusev at the time, he was like the silent brute and she did all the talking for him. She, controlled him like it was like a toy soldier or something, like he's had an on and off switch or whatever. But now that Miro is capable of doing all of his own talking, all of his own promos and everything, what type of role? I'm not sitting there saying that she'd be useless, but whenever she worked with her husband, that seemingly was her role. But now that because in WWE he was without her before they both left. You know what I mean? So in AEW, what would her role with him be? Because it's not like she's going to do all the talking for him. He can talk for himself.
It's old school macho, which doesn't work anymore. I mean, this is the thing about the woman and the men. It's like there are specific people who are crazy that think that women need to control it, just like in the way with men. No, and there's people that still think men need to control the deal. No, they need to be a team. And I'm not talking about a tag team. I'm talking about it's a marriage, which means he's going to protect her. He's going to come in. He's going to get that if she's in trouble. She's going to go in and do it. I like what she did. It's just that's a 290-pound man, and she's well over her head, but she would do that for him.
Right.
She would do it for him. She loves him. That is the thing. You see this in ones that love each other. They're gonna jump in on with six guys beating on. They're gonna jump in. They're dead. They know it, but they love you. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what that's the whole thing that needs to be done in the first place. I like the idea. I just hope he's just worried about her well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, more AEW All Out recap here.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, in the main event, Jon Moxley finally dethroned Orange Cassidy. We have a new champion, folks, in the main event. He captured the AEW International Championship. So how does this add to the Blackpool Combat Club? Does it make them more dangerous?
I like what they do. I love the initial part of Combat Club with Regal. That was an amazing that was an amazing start to it. About what it really was. I will say this though: if these are combat people, why are there 40-minute matches with anybody but their equals? Why are there? Why? And I don't know if they've ever faced. Here's the thing: I will admit this. Have they faced the Jacksons? Have they faced the Matt and Nick?
No, not yet.
See, that's the thing. I'm glad they haven't. That's what I'm saying. If they would ever do that, why would you even sell that? There's anything that's not that kind of offense. Mm-hmm. It's goofy offense. The thing. These are from the old school 1940s type of combat. It's if you've got that, why would you do? I mean, you're so good. It's there. Why you need to go get equals? If you're going to start something like this, you need to go get equals out of a pile of matches. I don't mind it with. And I'm not calling him Daddy Ass. I don't. I'm not calling him that. It's so stupid. But I don't mind it with Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn's Billy Gunn's a brick.
Yes.
Billy Gunn
At 59 years old.
Yes, Billy Gunn's a brick and he's got movements. I wouldn't mind if they face off against Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't mind if they face face off with guys that are of equals or things you have to chop down. Mm-hmm. Don't put them in with specific. And wrestling does this. Don't put them in with if they are combat. If they're combat veterans, if they are combat everything, why do you throw them in with just have a match?
Yeah.
They need to be ones that are completely dangerous, and you need to go get somebody equal to them.
Very true. That's how they even operated because, it all started with the whole feud between Moxley and Danielson. And Moxley said, before we team up, I gotta bleed with you first. And they had a hell of a match. He wanted to make sure that Danielson was his equal.
Yep. And something Moxley, people didn't believe at first that Moxley belonged there because they didn't know if he was that kind. Because you got to remember, Danielson's that kind of. You got to remember, Danielson ran. He ran an intruder in his house down with a bad neck. We already knew Danielson was that type of guy. We knew Regal was that type of guy. We knew we know Cesaro now is that type of guy. We didn't know if Moxley. We just think does Moxley just fall through tables and take bats. But,
yeah.
But he's that type of guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's really, and I mean, if you're going to get, like I said, I loved what they said. We need to bleed first before I team up with you. That's something that you could really do with. I mean, I don't have too many more, maybe one or two more added. That's something you could do with a pay-per-view match. If you want somebody in there,
right?
You want somebody in there, have that kind of match.
That's true.
And make them not know you want them.
Yeah.
See if they make them not know. Start the whole feud. Start the whole feud like that. To make them not know, you don't even know. You just start the feud and beat them senseless all the time. And then you don't even realize it. And then a year later, do it again. You don't realize they just wanted you the whole time.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, don't do it any more than one or two more times. Don't do it like the NWO and have 27 guys. But you just add the thing. It's got to be people that are worthy.
People that are worthy, absolutely. Now, for some more controversy that happened, and that was that over the weekend, officially, CM Punk has just been fired by AEW amid the backstage scuffle with Jack Perry. Jack Perry himself was suspended for AEW All Out, but I've already been seeing the rumblings online and people asking the question. And I'll go ahead and ask two questions with this one, and that is number one: was this firing justified, in your opinion? And number two: is Punk headed back to WWE?
Well, he's definitely not going to UFC. But,
right? Yeah,
but he's definitely not. No. So he goes and picks a fight with Jungle Boy. See, give CM Punk credit for getting in the octagon twice.
Yeah.
Give him credit. You have a level of badass to you when you do that, when you have the guts to do it. These are the best in the world. These are the best in the world of what you do. So you have that level, but you're not the baddest in the world. And see, this is the issue that we have now with this internet era. People that are not badass and truly badass, they're mixing it up with not badasses and thinking this is badass. It's like CM Punk ain't screwing around with Harley Race.
No.
He's not screwing with Harley Race. He's not. Harley would twist him and throw him in a wall. It is not. While he had a cigarette in his mouth. Harley was a bad. But see, that was the whole those locker rooms are full of those guys.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It is literally theater now. It's theater, and okay, some of us prefer Harley. Cool. Some of us prefer Harley. Cool. Some of us prefer the theater. The flip flop and fly. Cool. I mean, wrestling's coming to a new golden age now with all these 80,000 seat places.
That's true.
But if you're a theater actor, and I'm not a big fan of Kenny Omega, but congratulations, he actually knows he is and he sticks to it. If you're a theater actor, quit pretending you're a tough guy. Someone like Harley Race went out and started fights in bars just because he was having fun and he was bored.
Yeah, but Harley Race was really built like that, though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that don't go backstage and play badass to a bunch of theater nerds. You went to UFC and got absolutely cold cocked twice. Two real badasses.
Yeah.
So you're going back and picking on theater nerds. So quit it. And it's like, and then go back to WWE and it's more theater nerds. It just really is, especially with Taker gone. Especially with Mark Henry gone. It's like there's a bunch of theater nerds back there. I mean, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, I've been a trained actor. I get it. But if you're a theater nerd, you are in fight choreography. You're not in a fight.
Yeah.
And as someone who's been in the ring himself twice and lost, don't pretend. I'm not gonna go back. I'm not gonna go pick on theater nerds.
Yeah, and this reminds me back of like in the '90s, and to everybody who doesn't know or may have seen this, but don't know the history behind it. Undertaker has tattooed across his stomach BSK. It stood for the Bone Street Crew. Basically, it was like the Clique. There was just a bunch of close friends, but they just
play bones. They play dominoes.
Yeah, they played dominoes, but these also were legit badasses too. Taker was in it. Yokozuna was in it. I think Crush was in it also.
CM Punk wouldn't have messed with Yoko.
Yeah, I don't think he would have messed with any of them.
No, none of them. No, but I mean, Yoko would. See, Yoko could legitimately go. That's the thing. Every one of them could legitimately go. But see, that's the thing. That's where people talk about. It's like you go to the back. The one guy in the back in the days of the 80s that couldn't go was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He couldn't go. But he knew. You know what he was? He was a guitar player, a rock star. He's getting the crowds. He's building the crowds in. He knew it. He never pretended to be a badass. He's using all those badasses as bodyguards.
Exactly.
And it's like, but you know who else is back there if you want to get to him? Paul Orndorff. Harley.
Yeah.
I mean, we can keep naming them over and over. Coco Beware was another one. It's like there weren't many that you were going to mess with.
It's true.
And it's like I said, these were guys who fought in bars then because you had to bring the deal. Now and I'm going to keep saying it forever. You are picking fights with theater nerds now.
Yeah.
It's not the same. And there's nothing wrong with being a theater nerd. I might be a head of a drama department one day. There's nothing wrong with it. But don't pick fights with them thinking you're a tough guy.
Yeah. No. Absolutely agreed, And I mean, Punk, he's a, trained fighter and all. Of course, he went 0-2 in UFC. But like you said, there's something about getting in there. Yeah.
A pile of 0-2s I'm not messing with.
Exactly, because they're trained fighters. That's my point. I'm not gonna still pick a fight with him because he's a trained fighter.
Wanderlei Silva lost his first fight in 24 seconds to Vitor Belfort. That didn't make him a wimp.
He still became the axe murderer, right?
Yes. What?
He still became the axe murderer, right?
Yes, exactly. It's like that was just the moment that they're still bad boys.
Yeah. I mean, look at Brock Lesnar. He lost his first match. He was clearly beating Frank Mir and fell in the knee bar.
Yeah.
But then in a rematch, what happened? The same thing, but this time Lesnar finished it. Lesnar always knew he was better than Mir. He just closed the door the second fight.
Boy, I'll tell you what they missed because they just didn't know. The creative doesn't know what they're doing. They missed a huge opportunity with, I'm talking about WWE, with Dan Severn versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh man,
it's like just in that moment, the one guy that can handle him, and then the one guy that can handle Brock, the one guy can throw him around.
Mm-hmm. The one
I
dude
mean,
that
just
can.
you could have done that. See, that's the thing. You could have done that in the younger years when Dan had a name still. Could have done that. I mean, no one is handling him. He's destroying everybody. And here comes the beast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the one guy that can throw him. Of course, Severin would lose in the end. He'd get killed in the end. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Severin, because you know what? It's funny. I was watching the pay-per-view, and Steamboat got involved
Mm-hmm.
during the strap match, and Steamboat started like attack. I forget what he
Big
swung on.
Bill.
Yeah,
Big
it was
Bill.
Big Bill,
I hate
but
that name. Hate
but
that name, but still.
yeah, his old one was way better. But it reminded me of something you said, and that is guys like him at this stage and Arn Anderson and so forth. They have to have that mindset that they got one punch left.
Yeah. Yep.
And
And he got a couple in. And then Bill's about to take him out before they got everything. And it's like, good. It's like, you got to realize that they're old. They got one left. They still, and Steamboat's in amazing shape.
he is.
Steamboat is people wondered why there wasn't a final Steamboat Flair match because Steamboat would have killed him. There would have been death in that ring because Steamboat can still move.
He can still go.
He can still move. It's like he can still run ropes. He can still. Flair can't do anything anymore. It's like
Right.
it would have been. It would. I mean, he would have. I mean, Flair was allowed to pass out a couple of different times, but he had He had pros helping him.
Yeah.
It's like, but I'm just saying, Steamboat alone in that ring, it would have been ridiculous because he would have killed him. He doesn't have the same stamina anymore. Flair doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He
But also
looks
at the
great
same
in the gym.
time, but even right now, isn't Steamboat like 10 years younger than him?
He's 70.
So 5 years.
Yeah, he's 70. But it's like that's an amazing 70.
It is. That is. That like at 70, like you want to be like that. But when I move, go ahead.
I'll say one more thing with that before we go on. I'll say that. This is the thing with Steamboat. And it's just the vanity. It was stupid vanity, too. He goes with a shirt in his final match. He did not need a shirt. He did not need a shirt. I don't care if you have a couple of little old sags. Everybody's going to understand. He's still got an amazing body for a 70-year-old.
He does.
Hey, Flair needed a shirt. Steamboat didn't.
Steamboat didn't. Yeah, true. Well, going to our next topic here, and this was something that the pundit himself came up with. And as far as pro wrestling goes, and you can see the Mount Rushmore here, and those of y'all who kind of don't know where I'm going to, people have different, wrestlers on their greatest of all time list. The Flairs, the Rocks, the Hogans, the Jerichos, the Michaels and so forth. But you know what? What really constitutes a GOAT? Now, I took the liberty of putting some factors in, like maybe in-ring, mic skills, impact, fan reaction. Maybe you average everything up and tally everything up overall. But, I mean, what really constitutes a greatest of all time? Like, how do you measure putting somebody up on greatest of all time?
Well, what my thing is, first off, is the reason I brought this up because you saw the pay-per-view the last couple nights. I have to say Saturday now. They're not doing Sundays anymore. But it's like what we're talking about with this. It's the John Cena, the greatest of all time. And then I was just trying to think. It is so technical. It is so instinctive to say, what are you talking about? Then you realize the last time we saw Hulk as the greatest of all time was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. If Hulk comes back, he'll still get a nice ovation. But this is the last era that we're not going to, after kids are born, they're going to be like, who? Which is amazing to say because that's how time happens.
It is.
So we have to, it's going to be greatest of all time with Cena because that's what everybody's been used to.
Exactly.
But like, I'll put Hulk, for instance. Hulk wasn't the first to get big crowds. It wasn't anything like that. You can go back to Jim Londos for that. He wasn't the big first, but he was absolutely, positively the first rock star.
Yes.
Rock star. Dusty wasn't in a big enough. Dusty could have been. Dusty Rhodes could have been. but because of his thing. But the thing was, he wasn't in New York long enough.
That's true.
He was in Florida. He was in the Mid-Atlantic. He was in smaller versions of being the rock star in the territorial area.
Now, before you continue, because you said Dusty Rhodes, if we're talking NWA, WCW at that time period, Dusty Rhodes may not have been, but you know who was? Sting.
Sting, yeah. But I was saying that Sting came after Hogan, though. But it's like Hogan was the first rock star. You're talking about somebody who Brooke told the story before Hulk did. They were at a fireworks concert on this little boat or whatever the thing was, a little train. It was a little fireworks deal. And they were asked to go to the back because someone wanted to. And, of course, Hulk doesn't start fights. He could care less. Okay, Michael Jackson wanted to get on. Michael Jackson went up to him and apologized. And everything. And it's good to meet you. And it's like, and Brooke is 8 years old. And she's about, that sort. But I'm like, that kind of deal. You see, Brooke told the story first. And it's like, that's how big Hulk Hogan was.
Of course. He was the 1980s.
And yeah, and that was in the 90s when it happened. But I mean, he goes, and she does that, like, ah! And it's like, that's how big when it's your dad and he's home and he's fixing you pancakes, you don't realize how big your dad is.
Yeah.
And he was a rock star, monster, like levels of Taylor Swift now.
And he was everywhere. Like, we talk all the time about Shaq when he first came in the league, right? A larger-than-life guy that, he got his own video game. I mean, within years, right? Got all with the magic. Got his own video game. He was in films, Blue Chip, Shazam, Steel. He was in films. He was everywhere. Is it fair to say the the NBA tried to make Shaq their version of Hulk Hogan?
Yes, they did. And I'll tell you this, Hulk Hogan would have been an enormous rock star if he would have stayed with music. Mm-hmm. He would have been, you want to know why? Because he worked out during those times, during when he was in rock bands. So he was already big. He wouldn't have been as jacked, but he was still a big guy. The guy's still 6'7" in his prime. Mm-hmm. He would have been enormous up there because he had so much charisma.
He did.
He would have been the biggest of ever. And it's like, and you talk about, Hulk is the rock star. Sting's the smallest rock star. Dusty was a rock star I think Dusty would have been a rock star in New York. I really, really do if he stayed long enough. Mm-hmm. But he was the rock star in the smaller eras. So was Sting. But as far as gimmick all time is the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As far as movie star is Rock.
Yeah, undoubtedly. That right
movie
there.
Star is the Rock. It's like Rock got what Hulk wanted. But Rock's a better actor than Hulk was.
Rock is a better actor, but also in some ways on film, Hulk predated, he predated The Rock.
Well, here's the thing with Hulk, too. As I said, Hulk would have been a phenomenal musician more than actor.
Now, I will say this much before you continue. When he started the NWO and became Hollywood Hulk Hogan, everybody knows that could have been just a name. But the fact that he actually was in films literally made him that name. That's what made Hollywood Hulk Hogan believable. That's what made it so believable, was because the man really was in films.
Well, this is the thing with music. There's a reason I say Hulk could be a musician. For one thing, he can play. He can play the bass. He's very, very good, and he has tremendous knowledge of music. So listen to his interviews, tremendous knowledge. But I'll tell you why he'd be a better musician. There's not a whole hell of a lot of musicians that are sexy looking, face-wise. They're sexy by their music they play, but they're not, oh my God! They look like, Hulk looks like that. He's not exceptionally sexy, but you put a guy with muscles up there, and you would have that skullet, and you've got the thing. He'd been an amazing Rock. The Rock's a good-looking guy. He's a phenomenal guy, and he can sing, and he can dance, and he can do everything, and he's smooth as hell. Hulk's not smooth.
Nothing about him was smooth.
No, so smooth. He's like he's nothing smooth. he's not great looking. He's a big block.
Yeah.
He's a big buck, but he was a musician, and he had the look of a musician and since he drove motorcycles, he would have been a gigantic musician in the 80s if he was stuck to that.
You know who else would have been, especially his voice? Savage.
Yeah.
Savage's voice alone was a rock star's voice.
Randy Savage is an all-time great as in wrestler, I will tell you though, I wish WWE would have left him alone because they stunk at the creative. They always have. They always, as a babyface, he's a tremendous babyface that's in selling, but he was an idiot. They made him an idiot because he always snapped and go into 16 people. Go into 16 people and get his butt kicked, no matter what. Never learned from it. He was on to be smart one time. Hulk always looked smart. He always looked smart, and he's the goof. Mm-hmm. And they always made him look good. And it's like, Savage looks like, I'm going to go after you. You're a dead man. And then he's dead in 30 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much. He carried us all the way through his time in WCW. Well, we do have about 4 minutes left.
Oh, what? Like Stone Cold Steve Austin? The last of the tough guy breed.
Yes, absolutely.
The last of the all-time. The people believe is legit.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of belief. There's Brock, but they saw him in UFC. But as far as just a regular everyday guy that you believe can whoop your absolute. I mean, these are the times of Lawler. People believed in Memphis that Lawler was. That's that guy.
Yeah. Like, you could legit be drinking with him at a bar, and then, like, you go to leave, and when the bar shuts down and you see, like, there's commotion in the parking lot and someone's fighting, and Austin's in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Throwing some guy, like, on a car. Yeah. That's totally believable, you know?
Yeah.
But, last topic real quick. We've got about 4 minutes here, and that is our weekly finish or DQ. And I want you to give an honest opinion on this one. If Sean Waltman, X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Kid 6, whatever you want to call him, if he was in today's generation, he would have been AEW or WWE World Champion.
Yes.
Finish or DQ.
Yes. And the reason being is because they're already setting up Dominic and he has no body. And Sean's a way better worker.
Yes,
Sean's
absolutely.
a way better worker. And Sean had the offense that looked like he could give Diesel trouble.
Yeah. He gave
even though
Razor
he took
trouble.
a beating, he looked like the kicks, the everything, especially he just missed the UFC era to go face Diesel. But if he would have faced him in like 96, 97, full blast like Diesel, those kicks, all the arm bars, the everything with a 7-foot guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is it fair to say when he first came in as 1, 2, 3 Kid in 1993, he already was ahead of his time? He set the pace for the acrobatic catch you see now. Like,
yeah, but better worker.
What was it? The Luchas from the Lucha Brothers from freaking AEW, the Young Bucks, hell, even Ricochet, Sean Waltman. Fair to say?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No question. It's like, and he's still in shape today. He's still in shape today, and it's like, but those are and he could have one more run if he wanted, but it just depends on how his body feels. But that's the thing. Now, absolutely, he would be, because you're setting up. I mean, you've already had Rey Mysterio as champion. You've already had. You're already setting up Dominic, who has no body.
Mm-hmm. Dominic's built just like how 1, 2, 3 Kid was.
Yeah, and Kid has the offense. Kid, the only one that ever got the point of Kid as a big guy was Scott Hall.
True.
The only one that ever got the point. It took Kevin Nash a while, because he squashed him 1,000 times. But I'm saying Scott Hall got the point. See, you notice he bounced Scott off of kicks to the head. Yeah. He didn't bounce him off a punch. He bounced him off kicks to the head. He bounced him off of. He'd sweep his leg. He'd do all that. That's how you would get a big guy down.
Yes, chopping a tree down. He was smart. He was really smart,
And Scott understood that. And Scott understood it, and guess what? That's what they did with Sean. And Sean asked him, "What do you need to do to bounce to make you bounce?" And he was like, told him, "Punch me." And it was like, it made sense.
It did.
Yeah,
It did.
it just got everybody, but he was during the time of the warlords and everything when nobody wanted to bounce for him.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, that is true. Well, um, we do have to end the program. That is our show for today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Be sure you hit that like and subscribe button to Sideline Sports if you're viewing us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Catch us on DBTV and Stream TV for all replays. So until next Monday, I am the Sniper. He's the Pundit. This is Top Rope Talk. We will see you later.